Welcome to another exciting episode of Energy and You. The show highlights weekly activities within the Nigerian energy sector with a focus on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited. I'm Egusa Igumbo. Tonight, NNPC Limited's Group Chief Executive Officer pays courtesy visit to the House of Representatives, discusses the growth trajectory of the oil company as a Kama entity. And on its journey to becoming a world-class energy firm, the National Oil Company launches the NNPC Limited Smart Print Services. It aims to reduce cost of operations and encourage modern-day business services. Details of these stories and more shortly. Please join us again. We begin with an update on the international oil prices and other global energy news making the rounds this week.
Oil futures reversed course after rising briefly at the start of the week, amid persistent pressure from the OPEC Plus decision and uncertainty over global fuel demand growth. Although the risk of supply disruptions from the Middle East conflict limited the losses. Brent crude futures were down 73 cents to $78.15 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were at $73.43 a barrel, down 64 cents. Oil prices slumped more than 2% last week on investor skepticism about the depth of supply cuts by OPEC Plus and concerned about sluggish global manufacturing activity. OPEC Plus cuts announced on Thursday were voluntary in nature, raising doubts about whether or not producers would fully implement them. Investors were also unsure about how the cuts would be measured.
In furtherance of its commitment to transparency and accountability to its stakeholders, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited recently paid a courtesy visit to the leadership of the House of Representatives. During the visit, the group CEO, Mele Kyari, highlighted the profit growth of the company, earning commendation from the Green Chamber.
The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, who led the top management of the company on the courtesy visits to the legislators at the National Assembly complex in Abuja, highlighted some challenges the company is facing to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin. He also acknowledged the significance of the passage of the Petroleum Industry Act PIA 2021 to the growth of the company, noting that the legislative milestone contributed to the company's impressive financial performance, which helped it to transition from a loss position of 803 billion naira in 2018 to a profit position of 674 billion naira in 2021.
NNPC Limited is the creation of the National Assembly by virtue of the promulgation of the Petroleum Industry Act, which created a fully commercial national oil company and two appropriate regulatory institutions which are now independent of the National Oil Company, which also regulates the activities of the National Oil Company.
He expressed optimism that the company profit profile is likely to increase by about 2 trillion naira when the audited financial statement for 2022 is released, adding that NNPC Limited has started paying dividends to its shareholders as stipulated in the PIA. He further reiterated the company's commitment to ensuring a hitch-free supply of petroleum products across the country to enable Nigerians enjoy the Christmas and end-of-year festivities, stressing that NNPC Limited has a vast stock of petroleum products to last through and after the festive season.
Changes that happen in the company, including those that happen after the promulgation of the PIA, saw us, this company changing from a loss position in 2018 to a net profit level of 674 billion naira in 2021.
Responding, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, praised the company for its ongoing reforms, which he said have positioned it for great success. He commended President Bola Tinubu for the removal of fuel subsidies on petroleum products, acknowledging that this singular act saved the country from major problems.
the economy of Nigeria, NNPC is the dominant force. So there's very little that this country can achieve if NNPC does not achieve its own mandates. And as we have always said, we are your partners. We are your partners. We are all together here to serve the people. You will find the 10th Assembly under my leadership a very responsive one, a very cooperative one, a very understanding one. We will always be there to support you in any way possible for you to succeed, because if you succeed, the Nigerian project will succeed.
Regarding the company's fight against the twin challenges of crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism, he urged all arms of government to support the company in delivering on its mandate, while assuring the company of the legislative arm's unwavering support in the fight against the issues.
The oil theft has resulted in lowering our production, which inadvertently also affected our cash flow. The monies that we are supposed to receive to stabilize the foreign exchange market. So, GMD, I want to assure you, your company is one that we look at very, very seriously. And we want to continue to put our thinking caps, think outside the box to see how we can support you so that you can be able to deliver back this country back to where it used to be or even better.
Additionally, he encouraged the company to explore practical ways to revamp the nation's refineries for the benefit of the country. The visit by NNPC Limited to the House of Representatives aligns with the company's commitment to keeping its stakeholders abreast of its operations as a transparent and accountable corporate entity.
We now go over to the oil-producing region for an update on efforts by NNPC Limited to curb crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism.
This is not just the destruction of shanties. It is the demolition of an illegal market where stolen crude is traded. Situated at Niger CAT Junction in Warri, Delta State, the market is no more. Nothing is spared. From the 25th to the 1st of December 2023, 163 incidences were recorded in Nigeria's Niger Delta region. 69 illegal refineries were discovered in Bayelsa and Rivers State. Also in Delta, Bayelsa and Rivers State, 10 illegal connections were uncovered. On the 28th of November 2023, Tantita Security Services, in conjunction with government security agencies, conducted a routine surveillance along the Western Corridor, where a large illegal connection point was found on a Trans-Escravos pipeline in Udaibo in Delta State. Along the Amupe-Escravos pipeline situated along the Western Corridor, another large illegal connection point was discovered in Mereje, Delta State. Here, in Koluama, Bayelsa State, sacks of stolen crude oil are stacked for transportation to their buyers. These drums containing stolen crude were found in Warri, Delta State. While oil pits, dump sites, and bags of crude oil were found in Alo, Eba, and Isiopo in Rivers State. In the past week, 11 vehicles laden with stolen crude were apprehended in Delta and Rivers State, while 41 wooden boats transporting stolen crude were seized and confiscated in Bayelsa State. 5 cases of oil spill, 3 cases of vandalism, and 14 vessel AIS infractions were recorded in the past week. 14 of those incidents took place in the deep blue water, 62 in the eastern region, 35 in the central region, while 52 took place in the western region. In the past week, 16 suspects were arrested. For NNPC Limited, there is no backing down on the war on crude oil theft until the menace is eradicated for good.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is continuously introducing innovative ways to cut operational costs and optimize profits. The latest of the innovations is the Smart Print services recently launched by the Information Technology Department to encourage smart and efficient work process in the company. Take a look.
The launch of the NNPC Limited Smart Print services brought together the management and staff of the various divisions and departments of the company. The Smart Print services, being a new model, was introduced to replace the traditional way of printing documents. At the unveiling session, the project lead, who is the Chief Technology Officer of the Information Technology Department, took the business leaders through the operational capacity of the Smart Print services.
The Smart Print guarantees secure and efficient printing of all of our documents in NNPC. What this means is it will save us a lot of money because there will be no wastages. You can also print in a secure way that any document you send to the printer just does not come out until you go to that printer, put in your code, PIN number, password, and your document only will be released to you. What does this mean in plain English? It means you will not get to a printer and meet somebody else's document there. It means you can print with absolute confidence. You can sit in your office. You need to go for a meeting in another block. You don't have to carry that document from your block. You can send whatever you need for that meeting to the printer in the other block several meters away. And when you get to the meeting point, you can approach the printer, put in your PIN number, your password, or whatever security method you have adopted to get your document out.
The floor walk session demonstrated how to successfully operate the printer.
So when you come to the printer like this is the interface you're going to see. With this pin now, we can print. So you come here, you put your pin 6329.
The NNPC Limited Smart Print has the capacity to print 100 copies of documents for each staff on a monthly basis. The Smart Print also takes into account the environmental, social, and corporate governance standards. The Chief Technology Officer also fielded questions from members of staff to enable them understand how the Smart Print services operates.
You said we have to press access to get out. So doesn't the system have some level of you don't press access after a particular time, it should knock you out?
The innovation by the Information Technology Department of NNPC Limited was welcomed by the business leaders.
Secondment to IOCs is something I have been used to for a long time, and I wish even then that NNPC will adopt it. So today I really felt proud that we have joined the league of the great IOCs companies that have been using this for a long time. The cost optimization, the value addition is really incredible. You will see, even in terms of the carbon print, the environment.
It's a great value creation for the corporation, huge cost savings. There will be a lot of control, and people would have to print in a very structured and scientific manner and in an integrated way.
NNPC Limited Smart Print Services ensures a more secured, efficient, and cost-effective process for the company's businesses. The innovative tool also comes with an added advantage of less maintenance cost.
The weather is 30 degrees Celsius at the Port Harcourt Refinery in Eleme, River State on this day. The heat is the least of concerns on the minds of the workers here. All hands and boots are on deck to achieve a common goal, getting the refinery back in operation. The facility, which comprises processing units, utility plants and tank farms, is undergoing a comprehensive rehabilitation involving a complete overhaul and change-out of major equipment. Looking at the metal work from the outside, it may not look like much has been accomplished. This is because the rehabilitation of the 53-year-old refinery goes beyond its static metallic frame, which is the first thing you see. The facility's instrumentation and control units, the brain of the refinery, is undergoing a complete overhaul. The rotating equipment, comprising pumps and compressors, have been upgraded and are all in place. Electrical systems, which include substations, transformers, cables, switch gears and panels, are all brand new, while static equipment like tanks, heater columns and drums are being refurbished.
We have refineries in the world that are over 100 years. The basic static equipment, which is just the metallic part you see, stays fundamentally the same. Upgrades happen over the years. Yes, the old Port Harcourt refinery was built in 1965, but as time went on, the instrumentations were upgraded, equipment were upgraded over years. So when we started this project, it was awarded in 2021, April to be precise. That plant then had undergone levels of upgrades. So instrumentation-wise, it has latest technologies too. For instance, the distributed control system, it is the latest we have in the market. So the refinery is coming back in very good quality to perform and compete optimally. Yes, the fact that it was built in 65 is, yes, it's true. But most of what is left of 65 is just the major static equipment and the metal frames. So for me, the refinery will come back in force and it will be very competitive.
About 3,000 workers play their part each day to get the work done. From piping, welding to fabrication, the relationship between man, machine and metal is constant. So far, the plant has recorded 8.3 million man-hours with zero lost time to injuries. The reason isn't far-fetched. HSE rules are always adhered to. By the colors, you can identify them. The blues are the engineers. The brown is for operations. The orange overalls represent the contractors. Out with the old and in with the new. The removal and replacement of piping work is a major task at the Port Harcourt Refinery. For a refinery built in 1965, it's understandable. Over 75% of this task has been completed and accelerated as workers run day and night shifts. The plant has also recorded remarkable milestones against all odds.
Basic markers for a major project like this is deliveries of your long lead items. We have items here that we've installed in the plant that took 18 months to manufacture. Those items are now on ground. We have the boilers, we have pumps made by OEMs, Gabonetta, Arturia in Italy. They've come on site and we've installed them. So our long lead items are on site. Instrumentation are on site. We've completed most of the procurement we need to do. The procurement, we have gone over 98%. Most of them are now delivered and they are on site. Piping work we're doing, we have progressed extensively. For electrical, we have had most of our cable laying done. Many of our substations now have been energized. So when I say December is feasible, yes, because we have really progressed extensively. So that makes me very comfortable. For the construction, that is the part I'm finishing now. And that's the part for the old refinery, I'll have it ready by December 2023.
As promising as it sounds, the question on the minds of many is the cause of delay in delivery. The managing director of the Port Harcourt Refinery reels out the facts behind the recess.
We had clear governance in place to award this project. However, when we came to the tendering process, remember 2020, COVID came upon us. And we worked throughout the COVID. We were interfacing with the OEMs, with the contractors, potential contractors then, bidders, throughout the COVID. And we ended up at award in early first quarter 2021. Remember, COVID was still with us then. That was when we awarded the project. This contributed to the initial mobilizations and placement of our long lead items. Now, here it was, a lot of the factories in the world were shut down. China was shut down, Europe was shut down, so there was a lot of force majeures by the OEMs because they couldn't produce them on time. That was one of the factors. This also added to the extended COVID shutdown in China. It took a while for China to open up. Also, the global supply chain was broken. We had so much problem sourcing our parts, even getting these parts now delivered. So that was the first one that was the issues that caused the delay. And as we're coming out of COVID, the Russia-Ukraine war now hit. The sanctions on Russia and the countries that were affiliated with them, and also getting these materials out became an issue. To even worsen it, the global manufacturers of arms also came into the market. Remember, this plant operates on very smart technology. Sadly, you may know that these smart technologies are what drive wars. So when the global arms manufacturers came in, they are the big boys. They took everything off the market. Components became a problem we couldn't source, and the manufacturers also threw in further force majeures. Despite all these challenges, we're able to come back, put the project back on track, and we're now aimed at the end of the year to deliver the old refinery.
This explains the celebration of the arrival of two 120-ton-per-hour boilers manufactured in Italy, weighing 200,000 kilograms. It is used in generating steam used for atomizing fuel and various processes, including running equipment like turbines and fire preventions. The boiler is just one of many long lead items that suffered major delays in arrival. On completion of the rehabilitation, the refinery will produce petroleum products such as liquefied petroleum gas, premium motor spirit, dual-purpose kerosene, automotive gas oil, and low and high pore fuel oil. For the managing director of one of Nigeria's biggest and oldest refinery, the success goes beyond the operations that will begin in December 2023.
So the beauty about the rehabilitation going on in Port Harcourt Refinery is that we imported a lot of long lead items, and these equipment are going to serve us for generations to come.
And that's how we wrap up the show this week. Thank you for watching. If you missed any part of it or previous episodes, you can catch up by scanning the QR code on your screen now. Remember to also follow us on all our social media handles showing on your screen to get updates of events in Nigeria's energy sector and other activities of NNPC Limited. Thanks again for being a part of the show. I'm Elgosa Igombo. See you again.